Hello, everybody, and welcome along to this week's ARW Woolcast. I'm your host, Craig, and joining me this week, I've got Gav, Keith, and Grizz. We thought we'd go a little bit different this week and kind of get away from the transfer rumour and gossip that's been going on, and the topic we thought we'd start with was there's a huge money bubble around the Premier League at the minute, and what I want to know from our contributors is when is this bubble going to burst, or is it just going to keep going and going and going? Gav, we've talked about this a little bit off pod a couple of times. Where do you stand on the whole issue of wages constantly going up and transfer fees going through the roof? Is it sustainable?
It's constantly going up because of supply and demand. These players are in limited supply, the top end players, and the demand for them is huge, so they can nearly name the price. Is it sustainable? I probably would verge on saying yes, it is, simply because the money coming into the game. Every club is just getting richer and richer and richer. You know, even the likes of, when you look at the two Milan clubs that suffered badly over the last probably decade, they're all of a sudden rich because of new owners. The China thing has gone absolutely berserk, and the Premier League is still the biggest money maker around. Once billions of people want to watch it around the world, TV companies and everybody else are going to pay massive money to be part of it. I can't see it bursting, not in the foreseeable future anyway. I really can't. All you have to do is look at the transfers nowadays, and people are talking 60, 70, 80 million, and it's as if it's a £5 million transfer. Money doesn't matter anymore. It really doesn't. So, in my opinion, no, I don't see the bubble bursting unless something absolutely catastrophic happens. But no, I can't. I really can't see it stopping. I can only see it getting. It might plateau somewhere, but I don't even think it's hit its peak yet. Let's be honest.
Keith, there's a couple of questions I wanted to run by you on this one. So, firstly, what is it that's so special about the Premier League that's earning so much money for the league? And secondly, where does this leave supporters? Because surely if wages keep going up and up, and okay, fair enough, TV deals keep going up and up, but surely our pockets are just going to have to get deeper and deeper and deeper as fans to follow what's supposed to be the working man's game.
I think to your first question, I think a large amount has to do with the intensity of the league. I think that because in England we have such cool climates, we're able to play such a fast tempo game in comparison to maybe players in Spain, where the climate is much warmer, and therefore possession-based football, slightly slower build-up play is much more the norm, because in that type of heat, you're not going to be hitting the ball long and chasing it after it back and forth. You knacker yourself out. So I think the intensity of the league is definitely a draw. And I think the fact that, a lot of around the kind of the 2005 era, we're kind of benefiting from that. So when we had a lot of money coming to the league, then we had a lot of English clubs doing well in Europe at a time when broadcasting rights were being sold off to the foreign countries, and teams like Manchester United were doing a lot of marketing work to promote the profile of their club and ultimately the profile of the Premier League. So we've done very, very well in that respect. And I think that's why it's such an attractive proposition abroad. To the second question about the wages, I think there'll be a plateau. I actually think there will be. I think the Premier League is in a bit of danger at this moment in time. It's a silent assassin, and it's called the cord cutters. The reality is, you can watch Premier League football these days at any time without being without having a Sky subscription. It's very, very easy to get very good streams online, and it's very, very easy to sign up to subscription-based channels online that will give you the access to Premier League football on Saturday and give you access to the games on Sunday. And a lot of clubs rely heavily on the TV money deal. And there's a really cool account, if anybody gets a chance to follow it, called Sporting Intel. It's a guy called Nick Harris. And he's alluded to this quite a lot recently about the fact that there's been a significant drop in Sky subscriptions over the last couple of years. And this drop only seems to be dropping further. The problem the Premier League has, it doesn't own its own content, and therefore would find it very difficult to create a subscription-based service But the reality is more and more people are turning to subscription-based services like Netflix, like Amazon Fire, and getting Fire Sticks and joining the Amazon type of TV, and they're turning away from their Sky and BT subscription. So I actually disagree. I think that the Premier League there's certain Premier League clubs that are in danger at this moment in time because they rely too heavily on the TV deals, and I think eventually that bubble could very well burst.
Just touching on what you said there, Keith, I wanted to kind of bring in one extra thing. Do you ever think it will come to a stage, and I know there's going to be huge disparities between the money here, but where clubs will get to a stage where we can sign up for a Liverpool channel and we can watch every Liverpool game, we can buy a Liverpool package, we can buy a United package, we can buy whatever the hell team we support. Now, I know that's going to cause a huge financial gap because there's obviously a lot more supporters of the top 6 clubs than there may be of the lower clubs, but surely the clubs wanted to get to that stage where they are in control of their own product.
Absolutely. I think the difficulty becomes with who owns the content, ideally, because of course Liverpool have their own, their own channel as it is, LFC TV, and they get to show the under 21s and stuff like that. But I think owning the rights to Premier League content would be a big challenge because ultimately the Premier League would own them and Sky buy them. So there could be that breakaway whereby kind of clubs turn around and say, hang on a second, we want to market it in a Netflix style way. But I think the challenge comes because they don't own the rights because Premier League do. It will be difficult for them to actually get that type of content live and on a subscription service on a larger scale. I think it will be interesting to see what the Premier League do as an entity moving forward and how long they're going to rely on people like Sky before they decide that maybe, hey, this is our content, we can break away from it, charge people 60, 70 quid a month, and we can give you all the football you desire. But a bit like the WWE network, for example. Now, fortunately for Vince McMahon, when WCW and ECW folded, he was able to buy all their historical video content. Now he has 8,000 hours worth of video content that he could just show, and then what he does is that he offers the pay-per-views for the subscription service. So now anything that I want to do with wrestling, I'll just go on the network. So that's the type of style that I think would work for the Premier League, and I think that a lot of people will pay big money for, but it'd be difficult for the Premier League to actually then go out and buy the rights to the content. Do you know what I'm saying?
Excellent.
So yeah,
absolutely.
So, yeah.
Very interesting. It really does open up the mind to what could be down the line. Gav, you wanted to jump in there?
Yeah, no. Me and Keith slightly disagree on this, but I see his point exactly where he's coming from as well. But you see, the thing is, we talk about the Premier League getting away from Sky, and the reason they get the money off Sky is because Sky can get the viewers. Now I understand they're going down, and look, you can get football anywhere you want. But you have to remember that once so many 100 million people watch football, there will always be the money there, regardless. It could go down the route if the bubble burst, where, look, the bubble's burst, the money's not in football anymore, and clubs do have to generate their own money more themselves. And that may be an option where Liverpool TV sell a package of, certain amount per month in order to watch every Liverpool game. That could be a scenario, like Keith said, if subscriptions continue to drop with Sky or something mental absolutely happens, and it's basically the TV haven't got the money anymore, or they're not interested anymore because the money's collapsed in the game, and clubs then have to, because you have to remember, clubs have a product where they don't have to do anything to push it. They just have to turn up and be in the Premier League, and the money is absolutely flung at them. Whereas if the money does collapse in some way, it may turn where the Premier League has to turn and say, okay, we have to let the clubs sell their own thing, because they have to sell their own, packages and stuff like that, their own content, in order to generate money, because we simply can't offer through TV anymore.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Do you think it will ever come to the stage where we're looking at a European kind of super breakaway league, where the top clubs around Europe form maybe a 2-tiered European league?
Eventually, yes. If they can offer a package whereby because if you create a European Super League, for example, this is a completely new league, a new entity, and they can be much more flexible to the times. the growing changes in times, the growing changes in the ways that we as football fans consume content. And so it would definitely be they could have an opportunity whereby they could turn around and say, look, your current way of doing things is declining. Join this Super League and we can ensure you hundreds of £1 million for years to come. And you get to play against teams all over the world. You can guarantee your top flight status. So it will just depend on the attitude of the top teams and when they kind of feel that, maybe we've outgrown the Premier League. I think it's a very real possibility. I don't think there's any sentiment amongst the top 6 clubs, if I'm honest with you.
No, I agree. And I think the thing is, like, if that did happen where you had basically a big 2-tier joint Champions League, and that's what it would be. It'd be just a big, massive Champions League, and they're playing each other every week rather than, sporadically over a set amount of months. It'd be the death of domestic football. It's as simple as that. Because you see it here, and like I know Keith and Grizz are both in England, but you see it here in Ireland. The Irish League over here has gone from amateur to semi-pro to pro. You get clubs going back to semi-pro because the money's just not there. And what happens is, instead of teams going away and forming things, all our players go away. So there's no attraction there. And that's what would happen with domestic football if that ever came about. I'm not 100% sure if it could. If they'd be allowed to, but the clubs have so much power nowadays, they probably could just turn around and say we're not playing there anymore and that's it. But it would be the death of domestic football all over Europe.
Grizz, where do you stand on the money bubble that's currently around the Premier League?
I've got a slightly different view. I actually do think that, all this growth in revenue, TV money, everything, I actually think it's attracting the wrong kind of owners, a lot of wrong kind of owners, and particularly the ones that are looking to use clubs as just a blatant cash cow. Do you know what I mean? I can see a lot of Leeds, Portsmouth, Villas, taking place if we're not too careful. There's very few. What's the Man City chairman, Prince Al Maktoum or something? There's very few that sort of run the club, run it as a proper football club and have it sort of everything in place, not just sort of throwing money willy-nilly, and or Roman Abramovich for that example. So, I mean, do you remember we were talking about the rule changes last week? We're trying to make everything we're following our those transatlantic neighbors, aren't we? We're just trying to become Americanized in everything. And, we were talking about wages. I can see wages rocketing. Was it Rodney Marsh, I think, who said a few years ago that there will be, £100,000 a week player, and how right he was. It's gone way beyond that now, isn't it? Sorry, he said the first £100 million player. There will be £100 million player, and wages, transfer fees. People say, is it never ending? Well, of course it's never ending. We everyone remembers the Italian money boom. When the Italian clubs were sort of just filthy rich, and we know that, how that ended. They're still recovering. Apart from your top-notch run clubs, Juve, the rest of the clubs, including the Milans, are still struggling to get back on their feet. So, I think a lot of owners a lot of potential owners are seeing this as a cash cow, possibility of using clubs as cash cows, but I think that's the wrong way of going. I can definitely see the bubble blowing very soon if we're not careful.
It's an interesting subject, guys, and it's one we could probably come back to and do an entire pod on, but we should probably push on. I should add at this point, when Jonathan has joined us, he was running a bit behind schedule, but he's in on the call now. The next subject I wanted to bring up was something, Keith, that you raised during the week in our WhatsApp group, and that was about the importance of a manager maybe keeping a couple of mates of the, we'll say, star players around to keep them happy and settled at the club. And how important is that?
I think there's definitely a point to be made, and I'd be interested in listeners if they've got any examples potentially of players for either for Liverpool or for rival clubs where you may feel they may have stuck around to keep, their best player happy. I mean, The example I give is obviously Moreno and Lucas being such good friends with Coutinho and Firmino. And obviously they're currently out. I think they were invited to Firmino's wedding. They're currently out taking loads of Instagram photos with each other and generally quite pally. And I wonder if, if that will at all come into Jurgen Klopp's mind, or the transfer committee as a whole's mind, on whether they think, okay, maybe we keep one or both. Well, probably one at least. I can't see us keeping both, just for the continuity of keeping his star players fit. I mean, I know on the flip side of it, you can argue that there's no love lost in business, and it is a cutthroat industry, and Liverpool will potentially get rid of Lucas and Moreno. But I just wonder if it is something that does cross their mind, and one if maybe has it affected a player before. Is there an example where a club has sold someone's best mate and their form has dipped? I'd be interested to see to hear of any examples out there. But yeah, I think there's definitely something to be made of it. I wonder if would it affect their form if we sold both of them at the same time?
Well, I think, to be fair, it would affect everybody if Lucas ever goes. I mean, the man is just amazing and is the daddy of the club. But Gav, do you think there's anything to this?
I think there's a lot made of it. Players being at a club and their mates being kept around and stuff like that. How much of it is true? I don't know. I think people like to make that up. Just to kind of justify why somebody is staying, or justify, we keep him there and the other lad won't move. Look, at the end of the day, this is a business. We've only discussed it, and it's about winning, and it doesn't matter like how nice a bloke is. If he's not good enough, he shouldn't be there. We talked about sentiment a minute ago amongst clubs and all. It's not there anymore. If you want the best squad you can get, and it means that one fella is really close to another chap, and the other, the first chap has to go. That's just the way it is. We look at Liverpool and we look at the likes of Lucas, and he's like a father figure to the likes of Firmino, Coutinho, even Moreno, things like that. Is there anything in it? Yeah, he's probably like a father figure to a lot of the players, not just the South Americans or the Spanish speaking players, But I don't know, there could be something in it, but to me, when clubs go out there and, like, say for argument's sake, Klopp isn't going to say, I don't think he's going to turn around and say, well, I'm keeping Lucas until he's 40 because it means I can get another fucking 8 years out or 9 years out of fucking Coutinho,
To be fair, you haven't tasted Lucas's lasagna yet. It's top notch.
I don't know, like, but he hasn't tasted mine either. But the thing is, like, no, I don't think so. I think it's a ruthless business, and if you want to win, you get the best, and if the best means a chap has to go that's quite close to other people, that happens. That's just my opinion on it.
Grizz, where do you stand on this? I mean, we've seen examples of it, as Keith has just stated, and we had Jose Enrique, who had to stay because nobody could beat him on FIFA, and it was winner stays on, and he was at the club for 2 years. So what's your take on players' mates being kept around? Is it just there's nothing to it, or are we just trying to make up stories?
No, there's there is an opinion there is maybe something to it, but to me it's bollocks. It's just my opinion. I mean, can you imagine Roy Keane, trying to make people get, imagine the Roy Keane dressing room, and sort of people, inferior players being kept around because they're pally with others. Look, there's team spirit, there's team unity. I get that. To create team spirit is very important, and every successful team has. Would we say every successful team has a great team spirit?
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
That would I'd say no. Well, maybe. I suppose to a degree. To a degree, it would. Yeah.
There is team unity, right? I think that's more important than team spirit. Team unity, that there's no split camps. I think that's more important than being pally with someone. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? The difference. Sort of, there's a difference between team unity. Look, there's no leaks. There's no people talking behind each other's back. There's no professionalism, I'd say. I mean, I could, it's not for a fact, but in my opinion, it would never happen in for example, a German team, a Bundesliga team, top Italian team. It's not about pally. It's this culture, isn't it? It's against this British culture of sort of just going out for a drink together. I think it's emanated from there, I think it can work to the detriment of the squad. I mean, there's no, again, as Keith says, it will be interesting to sort of see if there's any studies done to this. But getting on with someone is important, but being pally with someone and being around just because as a sort of father figure, nah, that doesn't wash for me. I think most top players have strong enough mentalities to be sort of, not be handheld, if you know what I mean.
But what about Grizz and the likes of the little Brazilian contingent, say, that's at Anfield, and they come over, and it's not just really about a language barrier. You're talking about different food, different culture, possibly different religions at times.
I get that.
So surely that does make them feel that little bit more comfortable. But I get your point as well about eventually you have to stand up and stand on your own 2 feet.
I get that, but let's for example look at probably the best back four the British game's ever seen, which is the Arsenal one, right? So we're looking at David Seaman, Nigel Winterburn, Tony Adams. You couldn't get sort of 3 more different players there, in characters, personalities. It's not necessarily
all English.
I get what you mean. They're all English, no problem. That's fine, but it's not in this day and age. Professional footballers do go play out of their native countries all around the world, and if you're going to be a player that is going to have ambitions of reaching the top, but to reach the top, you're going to have someone of your country and your mother tongue with you all the time. I don't think you'll reach the very top. It's a cutthroat industry. You've got to be professionally focused on your game and on your game. I think. In this day and age, the managers do play a big role in that. I get that, but I think the manager sort of sets the sort of team spirit, team unity. I don't think it should be. I don't think inferior players should be kept around. In answer to your question, a long-winded answer into your question is, in my opinion, I don't think inferior players should be kept around just because they're pally with someone.
So, Keith, you've heard what the lads have had to say. Have you gauged any more information from that, or has your opinion changed, or what are you thinking about it now?
How could you lot guys split up the band, man? It's such a nice band, man.
I was just thinking the whole time there is no way that Lallana and Hendo has been broken up. There's just no
Never.
way.
They'll become coaches of the club before they get broken up. No. I totally agree. But do you
remember the Spice Boys? For example, let's use the bad examples then. Sort of to focus. Do you remember the Spice Boys tag we had? Group of guys. Did Man United have a group in their successful period? Did they have a Spice Boys group? No, they were relentless. I mean, they get on. And one of the best partnerships was Andy Cole and Teddy Sheringham. Couldn't stand each other. Do you know what I mean? It's what counts on the pitch, in my opinion. I don't know. I see what you're saying. For camaraderie helps people. I can see someone being used to sort of settle someone in, a newcomer.
Yes. That's why Lucas stayed for so long. Then maybe that could be an.
I don't know. A fantastic footballer that's gifted beyond normal human nature.
I don't know, Lucas. I get what you're saying with Lucas and the Coutinho scenario and Firmino. I don't think it was meant to be that way. I think that it's just so happened. I don't think that was planned. So Lucas stays because to sort of guide Coutinho through, but I don't think it was planned. But I mean, you never know.
Guys, I really got to get out from behind this whole Lucas thing because people are going to think I'm damn serious about his footballing ability. It's not that part of him at all that always impressed me. I have to keep saying that it was his mentality and his will to succeed at the club that always impressed me. It wasn't his football ability.
He's actually been given permission to talk to Newcastle and Gremio today.
And again, that's 2 lovely choices from to either go back to Rafa who brought him over or to go back go back home.
Absolutely.
Jonathan, before we move up off this subject, I'll give you one quick chance to give your 2 cents on it. Do you think there's anything to this best mates being kept around to keep each other happy?
I'll keep it short and sweet. Chelsea won the team with John Terry in their team.
John Terry's everyone's mate, though.
Well played.
Well, it's true, isn't it? How can you be fucking pally with?
That scumbag.
Say it. Scumbag, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's all I'll say on the matter. There's probably a certain aspect to it, but you look at big teams. Like at the end of the day, everyone's going to be happy when you're winning, when you're winning matches, when you're winning leagues. You're not going to be nobody gets on with everybody in a workplace environment, and it's down to the manager to create that winning mentality, not paddy relationships. That's all I'd say on that matter.
Yeah, no, and I think everybody's made some fair points on that one. God, I suppose from a sentimental point of view, you'd believe it happened, but as Gav said, it's a cold hard business these days, and
it is.
Money talks. I'm afraid.
Yeah, well, you can have a lovely pally guy just taking up a spot in the squad, taking up an X amount of wages or whatever. It's got to be cutthroat. Like Rafa was probably the most cutthroat manager definitely in Liverpool's recent history. He sold his golden boy Luis Garcia to bring Torres home, which nearly worked out. Rafa also give out to Yabi Alonso for attending his wife's pregnancy, not coming 2 or 3 days before the Juventus tie. He also visited.
Ruthless.
Yeah,
Rafa was ruthless.
Even he showed his own example of as well. It was the World Club Championship, wasn't it, as well? His father passed away, and he chose to miss his father's funeral just to get on and try and to stay with the squad. Yeah, it has to be ruthless though.
Yeah, but looking at Benitez there, like you go back to the Michael Owen situation. Now, Michael Owen pricked Liverpool around for about 18 months about a contract. Anyone that disagrees with that, take it up with me, but that's my opinion. And Michael Owen kept telling people, no, the deal's there, I'm working on it, and I got down to it. And you have to remember, Michael Owen's two best friends in the Liverpool team at the time were probably Carragher and Gerrard. Now, Rafa Benitez could have said, right, okay, give him more money, and we keep him because that keeps Gerrard and Carragher happy. He didn't. He went away in the European tie, his first European tie for Liverpool, and he left him on the bench.
He did.
He said, right, Grant, we'll leave you there and we'll sell you. And he took the 8 million, I think it was about 8 million at the time.
And Antonio Nunes, can't forget that.
Yeah. No, you can't know. But he took that and he decided, right, that's fine. Now, this was after him going to was it Portugal in Euro 2004 and sitting down with them three lads and explaining what he wanted to do and what his vision was and getting them on board, and they all seemed to back it up and they were all happy. And then, of course, things fell apart with Owen. But if this theory was true, there's a massive example of it's not, because Benitez could have crumbled early on, impressed these two big players in the team, keep them happy by making sure their mate signs and gets a better deal, and he didn't. He just stuck to his guns, and what we get is what we get, and then two players stayed, so.
I suppose the root of this is player power again, isn't it, really? That's what the question is about.
Well, players run the game. Players run the game. It's as simple as that.
Right, lads.
And the top manager. Sorry, just one last quick thing. And the top managers you'll find, the top managers like you just mentioned, Rafa, George Graham. I'm going back a bit. George Graham, Alex Ferguson. They didn't let players take control of scenarios like this, situations like this. Do you know what I mean? So, usually a strength of a manager, depicts sort of if there's pally groups in a team, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. And I suppose with Klopp, he could always say, look, I'm moving your mate on, but here's a hug. And that'll make everything better.
Or just get back on the training pitch. It's none of your business.
Yeah, we can keep your best mate around, or you can have an extra 15 grand a week. Right,
I'd keep my mate. I love Gavin. I would never give Gavin up for 15 grand a week. Bollocks to that.
Yeah, they're right. Either way.
Come here, Gav.
Before we move on to the listeners' questions, and they've sent us a couple of good ones this week, just one more quick topic to go through on our agenda, and that's what are we expecting from the Reds this year, Champions League wise? I mean, I know our squad isn't fully assembled, and I know we've a qualifier, but look, we're going to assume that we're going to get through that qualifier and get into the group stages. And the last one was a shambles. I think we can all agree on that much. It was a disgrace of a performance in the Champions League. Surely this time around, with experience, Klopp on board, Gav, surely we're going to make a decent fist of it.
You'd like to think so, and the players linked and the squad that's there already, I think you could make a good fist of it. The last time was a disaster. It exposed Rodgers, in Europe especially. He hadn't shown anything, and I think he had a season beforehand in the Europa League, didn't he? Before he got into the Champions League, and the whole club lay down in front of Real Madrid or Anfield, which was unreal. And then he went away and picked the reserve team away at Real Madrid. But it exposed him and his tactical ability and his tactical nous in Europe. And I think just on Rodgers quickly, done a great job at Celtic, and hopefully, like, he was shown up a few times this season, but hopefully he gathers that experience and some way kind of holds back on this sort of idealistic football that he wants to play, and he might improve that. But as for us going forward this season, the draw looks kind enough. There's a couple of teams that are tricky in there, but you'd have to think that over 2 legs we qualify. I think we go in as third seeds, don't we? But that doesn't bother me. It wouldn't bother me if we went in as fourth seeds. Put the bigger teams up against Liverpool and they perform better anyway. But I don't know, if you get these 4 or 5 players in, that's been, I think 4, 5, 6 at a push probably is the number we'll bring in, and they all look very good quality that we'll add to the squad, and a few people going out that Klopp just didn't trust and won't be any loss to him. I'd like to think we go quarterfinals, and if you get to quarterfinals, anything can happen.
Keith, what are you thinking? What will make you happy with our Champions League run this year?
I reckon we're going to go quite far. I think Klopp's already proven in his time at Liverpool that he can take us through on a good cup run. He's taken us to the League Cup final, Europa League final. Last season just gone, he took us to a League Cup semi-final. So he's a pretty good cup manager. I think we're going to get quite far. I reckon we'll get quite far as long as we pass over the banana skin. That is the third round qualifier, because you never know what could happen. You just never ever know. Look at Bellew and David Hay. I always say that to this day. Bellew and David Hay is a perfect example in life. You just never know what could happen. But as once we get past that, I reckon we're going to go on a good run. My only concern is that, are we going to be able to balance the cup run with our league performance, or are we going to sacrifice one for the other? And it's going to be one of those type of seasons. But no, I've got pure faith. We could go semi-finals, even finals. We could be that team this year.
Jonathan, are you booking your tickets with me to? Is it Donetsk? Is that where the final is? It's in the Ukraine anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you not get the boarding pass there during the week? No.
No. You might have sent it to Grizz by mistake.
We'll all have a big Wolves getaway together. No, I'm very optimistic. Obviously, there's the banana skin of the qualifier, but I think we'll get over that. Without sounding too crazy, I think we're perfectly designed with Klopp, and especially now with the burning pace we have from the counter with Mane and with Salah. I think a lot of teams in Europe are going to struggle to keep up with us. I genuinely wouldn't fear any of the big teams, especially coming to Anfield. And yeah, I see quarter, I see semi-finals, maybe even all the way. I really do. If we get on the run, get a bit of momentum going, if we can just get a couple of our big targets in the transfer market, keep our players fit, why not?
Actually, it must be Kiev, isn't it? If I'm thinking right, it has to be Kiev. It's the Ukraine for the final. Does anyone remember? Is it Kiev the finals in this year?
I think I heard that before. Someone saying Kiev. I haven't looked it up, but I think I did hear someone saying Kiev before.
If I hear Kiev, I only think chicken. So
that is not a shock at all, Grizz. That really.
I just think of Shevchenko and Rebrov every time I think of Kiev.
Grizz, what are you expecting from us this year in the Champions League?
I think our hardest game will be the first qualifier. I think, or the two legs of the qualifier. I really think that. I think this team, this manager, especially this manager and his mentality and what we've proved since he's been here, is built, without going overboard, is built for Champions League nights against the top teams. He was born to manage big games, big occasions. I honestly think our toughest game will be the qualifier. If we get through there, like we should, fingers crossed, I don't give a shit if it's like a sort of that Middlesbrough type performance where we just struggle, in the first half and then we blitz them in the second. I just want to get through that qualifier. Once we're in that group stages, I think this man will take over. His aura, his game plans, his rallying of the troops, the fans. Anfield will be buzzing again with the Champions League nights. Anything's possible, as we all know. Anything's possible in the Champions in a cup run. So I'm actually really looking forward to the Champions League run. But we've got to get through this qualifier.
Does anybody know, with the qualifier, is the second leg at home because we're a seeded team? Is that a guarantee, or am I just making this up as I go along?
Probably Jonathan's got it written down.
I love the way you put Jonathan on the spot all the time.
I don't, I'm afraid. I'm just in from five-a-side.
You're shit.
I know. Forgive me, Father. No, I think it's, as far as I remember, it's an open draw.
Okay.
In terms of home league advantage.
All right, well, we'll have to wait till Ben comes back from holidays. He's our stat man, so we'll have to.
Can we put a call through to Jamaica there now?
I don't think he'd be in any fit state to answer, if I'm being honest. Lads, we'll move on to the fun part of the pod, I suppose, which is the listeners' questions. But before we move on, I just want to give a shout out to something we're doing at the minute. If you look on our Twitter account, we're giving away a 2005 Champions League replica shirt signed by Didi Hamann, Vladimir Smeets, Djibril Cisse and Luis Garcia. Just retweet the competition tweet and follow us on Twitter to be in with a chance to win that. And for a second entry, check out our YouTube channel AORW Now and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you'll go into the draw a second time for a chance to win that. So yeah, go online, can enter twice, and best of luck to everybody. Right, lads, we'll move on to the first question this week from the listeners, and I have to say it's a real beauty and something that's close to us Irish guys' hearts, and it comes from our good old friend at Blaine LFC, Blaine Agard, and he said, lads, what are your top 3 favourite crisps?
Oh fuck!
Now there's going to be some disparities here because
now hold on, we have to.
Ireland has some crisps that you guys don't have because we're the king of crisps. So
literally,
yeah, but look, are you narrowing it down to just crisps, as in, you know, Walker's, Tato?
No, I'm
crisps,
talking flavour. So if you like 3 different flavours of Walker's, there are your 3 crisps.
It's only no, but like, you know, like Skips, are they crisps?
Oh yeah, I'm calling anything that's a savoury snack here. I'm calling.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. Who's going first?
Crisps.
I love crisps.
Yeah. Everyone.
Oh my god, they are a crisp over sweets any day of the week. By the way,
Yeah.
give me a bag of crisps over a bar of dairy milk any day of the week. Oh, we're in agreements here. Love that.
We're us Irish guys. I have to say, like, we are fucking snobs when it comes to crisps because we reckon that we have the best in the world, especially when it comes to cheese and onion.
Yes, we do have the best crisps in the world.
Hey, therefore I need to come over pretty quickly then and sample this produce, because that's pretty exciting. That is pretty exciting.
Forget about your Guinness and your poutine or whatever. You gotta get the crisp.
Well, like, you know, I'm gonna go first because I've seen this question earlier on. It gave me some time to have a think, so I'm gonna go full on cheese and onion fest here. So I'm starting off with Keogh's cheese and onion, and basically for anybody that doesn't know what Keogh's are, or any listeners outside of Ireland, the Keogh family are a famous potato family in Ireland. They've been growing potatoes for years, and pretty damn nice potatoes, but in the last couple of years they started making crisps, and my goodness, they're a mighty crisp. The next one for me is the obvious Tato cheese and onion, and none of your yellow crap Tato that you get over in England and up Northern Ireland. I'm talking a nice red bag of Mr. Tato Irish crisps. And last but not least, it'd be again another cheese and onion, and that's a bag of hunky dories, which again, for listeners that don't know outside of Ireland, don't know what they are, they're basically a really thick cut crinkled cheese and onion crisps, kind of like a McCoy's but nicer. Cheese and onion. So yeah, full on cheese and onion fest for me, lads. I'm completely cheese and onion fanatic. Who wants to come in next?
I'll go next.
No, I'm going to be quick because I don't eat crisps, believe it or not. Yeah, I don't.
What?
I eat enough of the other stuff.
Blasphemy!
I eat crisps.
Nah,
he's more into salmon au croix or whatever the fuck he calls it.
Yeah, mate. Proper salmon au croix.
So you munch custard creams out, but like they're going out of fashion, but you won't eat a crisp.
He puts them into a bag and eats them like crisps.
What's a packet of crisps going to do for you? They're nothing. They're empty. You just put them in your mouth and they melt. There's nothing there. There's nothing to it.
Oh, yeah. You whoop them cheese and onion babies on the Sambo.
No, but if I do, all right, the barbecue Pringles. Do you guys have Pringles in your country?
I hear fuck off, Chris, will you?
And running water.
And running water. And
okay, I'm just making sure, innit? I'm just making sure. Me and Keith are in a different, country and everything. I got to make sure. I've never heard of hunky dories. I'm sorry. I was like, baffed. I didn't know what he was talking about. I thought, what pod am I on here? Well, hunky dories, a packet of hunky dories.
Did he say he was going to be quick?
All right. Barbecue Pringles, right? The barbecue flavor Pringles, all right? prawn cocktail. What are they called? Skips. Do you remember Skips? Does anybody know
I
Skips?
have a bag of them in the press at the minute, to be honest.
Yeah, Skips. I don't know if they still make them, right? Forgive me if I'm naming old brands, okay? And then there was these other ones, right? Keith, you got to back me because I don't think these guys have heard of them. Wheat crunchies.
Oh my god, they're disgusting.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Wheat crunchies.
Yeah, wheat crunchies were the ones I could probably, because you know if you're gonna eat a crisp, you got to hear it, right?
What flavour was it?
I think that was barbecue as well. I think I had a thing for barbecue maybe. I don't know what flavour they were, but they got this crunch. If you eat a crisp, it's got to go. Yeah. Otherwise, not a crisp, is it? Because that's the whole point of a crisp. Is like crispy. You know, it's got to have that sound. So it's got to be like. Yeah. And those wheat crunchies.
Do that again.
Knows.
What's got to be like?
Yeah, when you hear crisp.
That sound, isn't it?
It's different. You know, it's got to make those sounds. Those are the top 3 ones. I don't know anybody else's crisps. I haven't heard of any of those.
By the way, Grizz, don't even get me fucking started on shrinkflation with crisps. That's a whole other podcast.
Well, this is again. That's another thing.
Multi-pack is just the multi-pack is like, you know, it's fucking ridiculous. Like you buy a pack of crisps here, and it's a pack of crisps, and you go in and buy a 6-pack, and when you open them up, there's probably about 6 crisps in each bag, and it's just, and the bags are smaller. Like there's less weight in the bags and stuff. But no, I'm gonna go with my 3. Mine are. I don't know if Tato make them. They're called waffles. They're like a smoky bacon flavour.
Yeah, they are Tato.
Yes. Shout.
Is
heartburn in a bag though, Gav. Surely heartburn in a bag.
Yeah. Another one I'm going to include. They don't exist anymore, but I fucking love them, and they were called Crunchos. And they were hot.
Shout.
Oh, what a shout.
Right, that's the second one.
12p or something a bag at the time, I think.
All bags were 10p at the time. These were 12. They were a smaller bag, but they were like long sticks, but a hot dog flavour.
Like knickknacks kind of, Gav, yeah, but a hot dog flavour.
Yeah, and the top one is, and it has to come on bread with lots of butter, is King Crisps cheese and onion flavour. That's my top 3.
Again, what a variety of cheese and onion we have in Ireland when it comes to crisps.
Look at all your faces light up, boy. Look at the 3 Irish lads lighting up. Just because I'm going
around the garage after this.
My God, all their faces have lit up.
Grizz, we were raised on cheese and onion crisp sandwiches.
Yeah,
that's 3 Irish lads have got boners over crisps, lads.
Yeah, well, look, we've close ties to potatoes and famines and shit.
Yeah, fair enough.
Exactly.
Yeah, fair enough.
Who wants to go next, Keith or Jonathan?
Yeah. I'll go. So I'll go in ascending order. So it's type of crisp. we'll start at number 3 here. In third place,
that's fair.
They're not that popular. They're very hard to get at the moment, and they're not a crisp by a guy that has a speech impediment. But Frisps. I'm not sure. Did anyone?
Yes. Frisps are addictive.
Keith, don't try to fucking fit in. Keith, don't try to fit in. Don't leave me.
Sorry, my
You're just trying to fit in.
They only came in like salt and vinegar, ready salted, and cheese and onion or something, didn't they?
Yeah, you get the multi-pack, but like the multi-pack for me is just like a normal bag of crisps because you just end up demolishing them. They're small, grated, kind of ridged crisps. They are all like they're artery clogger in a bag. But
they had that sound Grizz makes as well. They definitely made that sound.
They gave you the HD sound.
Wonderful crisps. They actually were a wonderful crisp.
Yeah, let's go. Whenever we always have the missus. Whenever we see them in the shop, we get excited because we just take the whole shelf with us. So next in is the classic King cheese and onion, and that has to be in a Sambo as well.
Yeah,
and a new enough addition as well. But the Kyo's salt and vinegar for me are absolutely gorgeous as well. A proper potato to eat crisp. Absolutely gorgeous. So, but yeah, spoiled for choices we are.
Does anybody remember the ones called Discos?
Oh yeah.
And they used to be a really small bag, but you used to get like a little pouch of like, say it was salt and vinegar. They used to give you this little pouch in the bag that you broke open, and it was like another big bag of salt and vinegar you could throw on top of it.
They still sell Discos.
Do they still go? Yeah, I haven't seen them in a while. But,
you don't get the little pouch number, but yeah, no, they still their salt and vinegar used to nearly burn the roof of the mouth off you.
Oh jeez, yeah, they take them out of you. If you had the flu, You just had 3 or 4 bags down, and you were fine
And
the next day.
bit of flat 7-Up and you're sorted. I think a tasting session is called for, guys.
We're not living up to stereotypes at all here, lads.
No.
I'm waiting for one brand of crisp. If anybody mentions that, I'm logging out. Right, go on, Keith's last. Don't spoil it.
Yeah, so crisps and discos, man. They would have definitely touched my top 3. But just to add variety to the chat, at number 3, it is knickknacks. I think they are addictive as anything, and one of my
knickknacks. That's what they were called. Knickknacks.
Knickknacks.
See, Grizz.
Yeah. I see Grizz copying me now. Huh?
No, Keith. Knickknacks. That's what they were called. What did I call them?
You called them. I think you were talking. Wheat crunch, which were a thing as well.
I think that was a cereal.
No, they are. They are crisps.
This one, the barbecue flavor as well. But yeah, no, knickknacks at number 3. And number 2 was a hard one, but I've got to go for the McCoy's spicy flavored. They had like a chili spicy flavored crisps.
Oh, I never had them.
They came in a multi-pack as well, only, I think.
McCoy's used to do a lovely steak.
Oh, they still do. Flame grilled steak.
Yeah.
A lot of flavour. Boy, woof! The steak one. Yeah, no, the spicy one, funny enough, it did only come in multi-pack, but the boss man around the corner in my shop used to sell them as singles, so yeah.
Of course he did.
Your boss man.
Your local dealer.
Local guy. But the number one, Chris, and it's been a recent development, is the crinkles, cheese and onion. Crinkles. So they're part of the Jacobs family, the mini cheddars family. But there's a cheese and onion. They're rigid, round, and they are the most addictive packet of crisps you will ever eat in your life.
Still talking crisps, yeah.
We are still talking crisps. You must have seen them. They're called crinkles. You'll notice them when you next go to the shop, right? You can get them for £1, a big packet for £1, and I promise you will finish them within 10 minutes of purchase. They are ridiculously addictive. So look out for them. Crinkles, cheese and onion. They're part of the Jacobs crackers. The mini cheddars. You know the mini cheddars? The Jacobs. I think so. Yeah, the mini cheddars, part of that family. But promise you.
I'm so thankful no one in this pod, no one mentioned Monster Munch.
I was just going to give them a shout out.
Why was you? You would have lost a very active contributor.
I'm sorry, I'm not having a word said against Monster Munch. Monster Munch were fucking delicious.
That would have
but only the spicy flavour.
Over here they changed them to Mighty Munch.
Yeah, that's right.
Monster Munch is just you put that in your mouth. It's just flavour. It's just powder. Whatever flavour, like for example, let's say
they were gorgeous. We just stop.
Let's just say it was barbecue flavour, right? For argument's
sake. They weren't. They were spicy, flaming hot is what they were.
Whatever the flavour was, you just put it in your mouth.
They had 2 flavours.
They had pickled
onion. You put it in your mouth and it would just soak up.
Yeah.
Oh, disgusting crisps.
Oh, they were lovely. They stuck to the roof of your mouth. You got all that lovely gooey goodness.
Chris, we're not supposed to do that.
Lads, one more shout out, and this is completely for Irish listeners, and Gav, you must remember these because they're so Irish. They're as Irish as red lemonade, and that's the Perry pub crisps.
No, you see, now the thing is, right now, pub crisps, right, are on a whole different level. It's like, how could I put this? It's like, you know, when you go into like your local supermarket and you buy a bottle of wine for 7 or 8 quid. And then you decide to treat yourself and I'll pay that 10 or 12 quid for a bottle of wine. The pub crisps were unbelievable. Perry were good, but King Crisps done a pub crisp as well. But the best pub crisp I've ever, or the best kind of, they were a pub crisp, a company called Manhattan that make popcorn.
Oh, they make peanuts and stuff as well, yeah.
Yeah. They do a cheese and onion crisp in a black bag. It's just a black bag with Manhattan pub crisp, and they are phenomenal. They're out of this world. Pub crisps, like, Jesus, you fly through them in the pub. Once you get one packet of crisps in the pub, it just never stops. It's an all-day thing, and it's just bags everywhere.
They're designed to make you guzzle drink as well.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're on the subject of pubs. This is a bit strange, listeners, but does anyone find if you're out having a few pints, once you go for that first piss, you're fucked?
Yeah, I try hold that as long as I can, and I always find that if I go once, then my wife to say to me, "Jesus, you're like a yo-yo. Like I'm either at the bar going to Jack's or I'm out having a cigarette." So when we go out together, she just finds somebody else to talk to because I'm very rarely there.
Yeah, once I break that seal, it's game over. Game over. I piss like a racehorse. It's unbelievable. Literally, I can't stop. I need to have like a nice carby meal to stop that from happening. But if I go straight drinking with a empty stomach, boom, man, I'm in and out of that toilet.
I was all for drinking on an empty stomach and then a snack box on the way home. Because if I drank and I ate when I was out, I'd get sleepy. I couldn't drink anymore.
No, I have a policy of not eating while I'm drinking as well. I'll have something to eat before I go out, and then I try to stay away from the food until on the way home.
I used to have a lovely combo snack box, battered sausage on the way home in the chipper. Was my go-to thing. Right, lads, we'll move on to the next listener's question, and this one comes in from ADS.
Who asked the crisp one again? Sorry.
It was Blaine Agards at Blaine LFC.
He asked a great question last week as well.
He did. He's a top fella. He's a really nice guy. So the next question is at Ads Schillier. Excuse me if I said that wrong. It's Ads on Twitter at Ads Schillier, and he said, "Lads, what's your perfect Liverpool player? So, i.e., Gerrard's right foot, Lallana's engine, Mane's pace." So basically, we can combine the best attributes of the players that've been at the club over the years. What would be the super player we could come up with?
Oh, over the years it can be. It doesn't have to be current, yeah?
It doesn't stipulate, but we'll say over the years.
How many attributes are you going for? Like, can you just throw names in there and throw attributes at us?
We can only have one for each, say, speed, stamina,
body
heart.
part.
We can only have one for each, so we'll see where we end up when we get going. So, who wants to start us off?
All right, so we can start off with a brain. So we can say the brain of Xabi Alonso.
Xavi, that's a no-brainer. Literally.
Yeah,
I don't know. I fucking Graham Souness as well in there.
Yeah, Moby as a footballing brain was unreal.
Yeah, fair shout. I'll give you the Moby shout. Souness, Craig. Souness, there's other attributes that you could use of Souness for sure.
Alan Hansen as well for a footballing brain.
Yeah, you could. But, Alonso did win the World Cup.
We didn't do it single-handedly, to be fair.
Ooh. It wasn't a big, round of 32 knockout mastermind that used his brain.
How do you know?
Some of that passing, mate.
Because I watched it.
I just think we're going
that pass, dictator.
Right, so all right, I'll give you that one. So we're going to go with Xabi Alonso's brain. There's one I have to fit in. Whose hair are we going with? I don't care if this isn't a topic. We need a fantastic haircut to mark this player.
Martin Skirtle.
Yeah.
Has to be Emre Can. Has to be Emre. Sorry.
It's not. It's Patrick Berger.
Patrick Berger is a shout, isn't it?
I'm sorry, I'm not going past. As Keith said, Emre Can is a handsome bastard, and that hair is a piece of art.
Okay, so forget the hair. Say the looks. Let's say looks, because the hair's too. Because then we can start talking about height and everything.
Looks. It has to be Robbie Fowler all day long when it comes to looks.
Wow.
I was going down the Peter Beardsley.
No, but hold on. He's meant to be a super player.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're talking.
He needs marketing. Yeah, he needs marketability. We're talking about modern footballers.
We need to sell shirts.
Yeah.
He could look like Jim Chadwick, and he could run around and be the best player in the world. I don't care what he looks like.
Yeah, no one cares what he looks like, man.
We'll just say Emre Can. We're
talking about creating one, like how you create one on a FIFA, don't you? You create your one player, you can create like your.
There's certainly plenty of lads out there who know how fucking FIFA works anyway. And
so hold on, brain, you've gone with Alonso, right? So there should be stamina.
Go on.
Now that is a tough one, lads. To be fair.
Go on. 3 options for each.
Dirk out.
That's a good show.
That's a top shout.
So was Lallana, which the listener put in as well. Although I suppose his engine only really came in when he came with Klopp, didn't he? He used to be a 70-minute player.
It was, yeah.
Gerrard has to be there as well.
Momo Sissoko had a good engine on him as well.
Who?
Momo Sissoko.
Definitely.
Let's try and think it a little bit further back as well.
Luis Suarez. Sorry, I have to say that.
Yeah, absolute show.
Suarez. Never stopped.
Sammy Lee.
Well, his
Sammy Lee
his
never
assistant managerial career certainly has plenty of fucking pace. He pops up everywhere.
I think you'd have to go with
Stamina.
for just up and down and up and down.
Nathaniel
Gerrard has
Klein.
to be a decent shout. Gerrard has to be a decent shout, you know.
Yeah, but I don't want to waste Gerrard's stamina.
You want his shooting or something, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you can pick the player twice, can you?
No, of course you can't.
No, see,
okay.
we're not going to have Suarez either, I don't think, because I think we have him nailed on for something else. Surely a little bit further down the line.
Yeah, exactly. Stamina's got to be Dirk Kuyt.
Yeah, I'm agree with that.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he was a machine when it came to just work.
Are you singing that song again, Craig? Go on, carry on. What's the next line?
I'm going to start twerking now.
Yeah, go on. I'll let you go with that.
Yes,
it wouldn't be my pick, but I'll let you go with that.
Wait, so
well, you didn't come out with anyone.
The football and brain of Xabi Alonso.
Go away.
The stamina of Dirk Kuyt. So next, I'm going to say the will to win of Luis Suarez.
And I'd also combine that with his ears because for that aerodynamic.
Yeah, they were pinned back beautifully, weren't they?
They were indeed.
Will to win could be Suarez. Will to win could be Souness.
Souness, I put in Souness before any is over will to win.
Oh, he'd be moustache, to be fair.
Yeah, but when it's still, why are you going back to the face?
Yeah, he's got.
I'm shallow, Gav. No, to be fair, that's a good shout as well. Souness was amazing. Determination and will to win.
Look, listen, put it this way. Put Suarez and Souness on the pitch and a will to win. Like Souness runs all over Suarez all day long.
Yeah, but I think Suarez comes up behind him with a chair and whacks him across the back of the head. I don't care
what he does. Souness would just take that and then turn around and snap him in half.
Imagine
Souness never planted
races.
the fucking flag, the Galatasaray flag down, did he? Was it in... Oh, hang on, was it a Besiktas or a Galatasaray or Fenerbahce?
Galatasaray flag.
Galatasaray.
In Fenerbahce.
Imagine wacky races and Suarez and Souness trying to win the race. I mean, Suarez would win just because he's a bastard, isn't it? He would, as Craig says, he'd do something stupid and make sure he wins. You know, he gets the Souness would just try to win with brain and brawn and just.
No, Souness is letting you win. I don't care what anyone says.
Well, I think we've got to put this to a vote then.
Yeah, there's five of us here. Someone's got to win.
Right, Souness. So, two Souness. Keith?
Yeah, I got to say Suarez. Sorry, Souness was before my time.
Grizz?
Yeah, I was going to Souness, but I'm going to be awkward and make you make the final decision. I'll go Suarez.
So the deciding vote rests at me. And to be honest, when I started this, I was all Suarez. But I honestly think Gav's made a damn good point about Graham Souness. If there's one thing he was known for, it's just not wanting to fucking lose and being a determined bastard. So begrudgingly, I'm going to go with. I think we're going to have to go with Graham Souness.
Oh, that's fair enough.
For the will to win. Right, what other attributes? So shot, who's got the best shot?
Stevie.
Yeah, Steven Gerrard has to be.
Don't try to be clever, Gav.
Oh no, over a long period of time, over on a consistency basis. But if you're talking just pure hit of a ball, Risa could hit a serious fucking ball.
No, I'm not having it.
No, I'm just saying. No, what I'm saying is like it's just a pure hit. Berger was the same.
No, we're talking about consistency, accuracy.
Consistently hitting the ball.
Have you seen some of his training ground shots? You know, you get videos of training ground where they're supposed to be casual and just, taking it easy. Honest to God, this lad was magic. Unbelievable.
Okay, we go with Gerrard. That's a quick one.
Wait, so the next one, I suppose, is just skill.
Just all round, like skill.
Just skill, the most skillful player.
Can I put in Barnes as a shout?
Has to be.
Barnes a good shout.
We have to fit Dalglish in somewhere as well, lads, or we're going to be fucking slaughtered.
We could put in Dalglish there.
No, you don't have to put Dalglish in. Dalglish was an good all-round player. And was a great player, but skill-wise, Barnes was I keep saying it, like, I just love John Barnes to be playing for us today. Like, we rave about Mane and Salah and, even the likes of all these other players.
Johnny, wasn't he?
John Barnes in today's football would absolutely annihilate defenses, and I mean annihilate them, because go back and watch, even go onto YouTube, type in John Barnes, the best of John Barnes, you get about a 10-minute video, I think, on YouTube, and he's getting absolutely kicked from pillar to post during games. He's fellas jumping into the back of him, trying to barge him, and he's bouncing off players, and he just keeps showing them the ball, and then he's gone. He's inside, he's outside. He needs an inch of space, and he can put a ball on someone's head.
I was just going to say, do you know what I was going to say? Before I get Dogs Abuse listeners, I'm not comparing the two, but there's similarities, in my opinion, okay, in watching a young John Barnes and this Ousmane Dembele kid, right? The way where you don't notice them getting away from a defender. John Barnes had this effortless way, of getting away from a defender with just, it's just suddenly, there's no effort in his running. It's like so smooth. Dembele reminds me a bit of John Barnes in that sense. Dembele is a different type of player, I get that. But there is elements of him going past players where it reminds me of John Barnes. And John Barnes was quite two-footed, he wasn't as, his right foot wasn't just to stand on. He seen him curl many a ball.
He was one of the best people I've ever seen at riding a tackle as well.
Oh, just glide. The defender you'd see the defender sort of going in studs high and all sorts on the ground, and John Barnes would just be sort of just gliding over that defender like with
the protection he'd get today, defenders wouldn't be able to go near him and wouldn't get near him. Like, you just go back. Honestly, anyone listening, go on YouTube, John Barnes best bits or whatever it's called. There's a video on YouTube I watched about a year ago. It was a 10-minute video, and when I say I was enthralled for the whole 10 minutes just watching this fella in action,
Gav can't even watch porn for 10 minutes, to be fair. Like.
No. I turn it off and stick on me John Barnes YouTube video. But no, I would, if you want to get Dalglish in there, I'd put him in for Vision. Great Vision, Dalglish.
Grizz, are you whipping open the knickknacks there now?
I was just going to say, don't mind me, I'm just opening up a packet of 12s. What's it, 12s, isn't it? Well, I'm celebrating his Eid today.
You really are giving it your best shot, I have to say.
Oh, I'll put it away.
Eid Mubarak,
did you hear that? Thank you very much, Keith, man. But yeah, no, that's a good shout with the Vision. We have to have a play with Vision.
So we're going with Dalglish for that one? Is that what we're saying?
Well, it's an option, yeah. Beardsley had eyes at the back of his head. He had some vision, did Beardsley.
What's left is
Mogi.
I think what we're looking at is we're going to be looking at maybe predatory finishing, aerial ability, possibly pace is too obvious. So we'll go with aerial ability and predatory finishing. So
last two.
Yeah, we'll give Vision to Dalglish because this is getting too long.
Okay. Finishing is Robbie Fowler.
Fowler, yeah, God.
Finishing is Robbie Fowler. The most natural finisher of football I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, can't even be a debate. I agree with you there, 100%. Keith, you in on that?
Next.
Yeah. I'll go with that. I've not seen a player that finished for Liverpool. I mean, Judas, I thought he was a phenomenal finisher, aka Michael Owen. But we're not allowed to speak Michael Owen in any positive light, anything to do with the podcast. So yeah, Robbie Fowler.
And last one then, aerial ability.
Ability.
Martin Skirtle. Very good in the air. Very good in the air. Scored a lot of goals.
Sammy Hippier.
I'd be intrigued to know who scored more headed goals for their Liverpool career.
But we have to look at defensive headers as well here. And do you know what pisses me off about our team at the minute, actually? I think when it comes to heading the ball, with the worst fucking aim I've ever seen. Like, we cannot pick out one of our own players with a defensive header or a cushioned header. I think we're fucking awful at it.
Yeah,
Sammy would flick the ball away at the edge of the box, that long blonde hair, and it would reach the halfway line to someone's feet.
Yeah,
he was very good in the air. He'd be in fairness to him.
Benteke.
No, Benteke was good though.
He was. It wasn't bad in the air, but
we wouldn't know watching his Liverpool career.
Nothing to be said for Big Andy Carroll.
I was just going to say,
talking pure aerial ability here, lads. Not injury prone or.
Yeah. I think Andy Carroll to this day is probably the best header of football in the Premier League.
No.
Absolutely. No one has his reach. No one has the way he jumps and the power he gets behind that ball when he heads.
It's not even that, Keith. It's just the fear he strikes into people. Like as soon as the ball goes out wide for West Ham or Liverpool or Newcastle, or whoever England.
Duncan Ferguson was good.
Doesn't play for Liverpool though.
As soon as
I'm just saying, Duncan Ferguson.
A ball went wide or a ball was looked to go along, you could see the central defenders look at each other as if to go, who's going up with him this time?
That's okay if you have Lucas just give him a nudge in the back just as the ball comes.
Yeah.
How good can Andy Carroll be if he said Lucas was his hardest opponent? Come on. Get with the system.
Would you be talking about the fella that set up goal of the season like that?
I'll tell you who was good in the air. Sebastian Coates.
Yeah, for who?
Argentina.
For Uruguay?
You must have had something on TV at some stage.
What opposition player was good in the air for a small fella and he used to piss me off? Tim Cahill was unbelievable in the air.
Tim Cahill, absolutely.
The other one was the chap off United, Hernandez.
Chicharito.
Or Chikorito. He scored a serious amount of headers goals, and he's tiny.
I always wondered if he'd ever end up at Liverpool after he left United and he went to Leverkusen. Do you know what? I always had a little sneaking suspicion he might end up at Liverpool.
Yeah, I don't know. It won't happen now.
I'm not sure he's a Klopp type striker.
You know what, lads? I'm not even going to try and go back over that and make up that player again and give a rundown on who we have because there's fucking just too many there. But look, he's the best player in the world.
I'm sure the listener can sort of, make a note of it and remind us.
He'd make Mbappe look like a punk. This fella making up.
Yeah, and if people want to make up their own one and send it into Craig so we can read loads of them, walk away.
I'll tell you what,
where he is.
Yeah, please do. Next one comes in from another sound fella, Nigel Cody, and that's at Irish Red 11. And we spoke about Michael Owen a few minutes ago, and sure enough, this leads straight into this. Ambassadors, who's good, who's bad, and who should there be as a club ambassador?
Can I ask who the club ambassadors are at the moment?
I just know Michael Owen. That's the only one. I suppose surely
is McAllister
one? Ian Rush has to be an ambassador he's everywhere.
Yeah. Is McAllister one as well?
He is around a lot, so
yeah. But I get mixed up
I've got the
Legends games.
You've got the list.
I put up a list here. Hold up.
Oh, look at this. Ben's not even missed anymore, lads.
Yeah.
Keith's got a lot of catching up to do. Do you remember he missed a pod? So he's got
I deserve the chastising from all sides.
We won't go into that.
That's libel.
Here we go. Ambassadors. We got here Ian Rush, Robbie Fowler, and Gary McAllister, and of course Michael Owen.
Yeah, I thought there was a few.
So we got to replace Michael Owen. Let's replace. Basically, we got to replace Michael Owen. Who do we replace him with?
We don't need to go into it, but Michael Owen shouldn't be an ambassador for Liverpool Football Club. It's as simple as that. We don't need to go into it.
Are we happy with the other three?
Yes. The other three are fine. John Barnes should be an ambassador for Liverpool Football
100%.
Club. I listened to him on different interviews on TV, radio, other podcasts, and he's a breath of fresh air when it comes to football. He's so passionate about it. It's not even that, the experiences he's had in football, both good and bad, on and off the pitch, for reasons we all know, but I won't go into it. But he's just a perfect. He loves the club, and he's the sort of fella that when he walks around and he goes to meet people, and if he was representing Liverpool Football Club, and you go and meet John Barnes, not even as a Liverpool fan, you'd walk away thinking, God, they have a good one there. That's my opinion, though.
He's not afraid to burst out a song either, Gav.
No, but I'm not too sure on the songs. I don't think they're as good as people make out. But no, I just think it's just the impression he gives the people, and you walk, exactly. You walk away from John Barnes and you're thinking, what a bloke. It's as simple as that. That's all you want, man.
I have a theory on club ambassadors to a degree as well, and what I kind of think is what Gav said is spot on, and you would walk away from meeting John Barnes and you'd feel like you've met somebody special. But I kind of think to a certain extent, call me sentimental, but I think the players that weren't around when football was at its heyday and didn't really make enough to live comfortably. Like, I'm thinking somebody here, possibly like a John Aldridge, who would lay down for the club, loves the club, born and bred. I think he'd make a perfect ambassador.
Yeah, he's not a bad show. He's not a bad show. But if you're putting one in there, I won't look past Barnes for nobody.
The only reason I'd look past Aldrich is in terms of international sort of, international figure. Is he renowned around the world?
He's a superstar in Ireland, mate.
Yeah, exactly. So again, but no.
He's world renowned. He's world renowned for them interviews outside the Albert, isn't he? For Sky.
Ambassador. So we've covered. So who's your shout, Gav? John Barnes. I can't go against John Barnes. Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty. I mean, out of the recent ones, you could maybe make a case of someone like Hupia or an Aga.
Yeah, I don't think that. There's Cal and there's Alonso now available after they got into retirement. After they got into retirement.
Not Count, but I do like the sound of Alonso. He'd carry a bit of weight, around sort of all these in these big tournaments, or sort of in these big what are they called, the Champions League draws. When you see all the representatives of teams, you could imagine Alonso with his beard and just immaculate suit, and he just looked the dog's bollocks in it.
Yeah, he looked the business, wouldn't
he? Either Alonso or Al Hajj Diouf. Take a pick.
No, Senegal's too big.
Let's go to a vote.
Seriously, he's popped up again today, hasn't he, on Twitter?
He's a fucking idiot. Don't be Listen, do you know what the only thing worse than El Hajj Diouf is people posting the link up online about him and making comments about him and giving him the attention that he craves. That's all he's doing. Listen, he has nothing else to say but Steven Gerrard, Jamie Carragher.
Al Hajj Diouf is the equivalent of the keyboard warrior on the internet.
He's just trying to stay relevant.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what keyboard warriors do on the internet.
Yeah, but the thing is, why do when he comes out with this, right, and it gets posted in a French newspaper or wherever he's doing it, right? I don't even know where he's doing it because I won't bother to read them. Why do people insist on posting that link back into Liverpool people's timelines and whatever? Why did he do that? He's a complete and utter arsehole. So why are they doing it? I can't get my head around people doing that.
It's Katie Hopkins syndrome, really, isn't it? We all seem to. There's a vast majority of people out there who seem to just flock to controversial comments from idiots, and we just seem to enjoy sharing their content just to be like, oh my God, can you believe what they said? But actually, like you guys said, what you're actually doing is you're just giving him the status and you're giving him the attention that he deserves. And he's probably looking at it from a promotional standpoint and thinking, yeah, I'll carry on chatting this rubbish. People seem to still listen to me. It gets me the hits, it gets me the views, it gets me the attention. I still get to be invited to all these TV shows about football because I'm so controversial. And he seems. And the sad thing is that he's probably carved a niche for himself. Actually,
yeah. Because I'll tell you, money. Yeah, because Keith, the reason is because he knows, and papers know, and media outlets know. We get El Hajj Diouf to say something else against Gerrard and Carragher, and we get hundreds of thousands of clicks on it.
Yeah,
exactly. It's the same fucking crap every time, and people continue to do it. And if you see anything from El Hajj Diouf, scroll past it, or delete, or stop following the person that's reading. Stop it. It has to be stopped. It's ridiculous.
I brought up this phrase before about other people, but he really does have a face that wants to slap up a sledgehammer. Like, just the look of him, he looks like a cunt.
He does.
He's a scumbag, and that's the end of it. This is the fella that spat at fucking Celtic fans and everything. While playing for Liverpool, he should have been thrown out of the club there and then. He's a scumbag. That's it. And people need to stop fucking giving him the fucking oxygen his career needs. Yeah.
Right, so I'd say it's fairly safe to say we're ruling out El Hajj Diouf as a club ambassador.
Just about. Well, we're on the fence.
Right, lads. Last question before we pack it up, and this comes from I think I'm pronouncing this correctly, at Choleros. It's at CHOLEIROS. And what he wants to know is Mane's knee injury going to hamper his development next season? Have we any worries about that?
No, I wouldn't have any worries over it. He got the injury. from what everything said, the surgery was successful. He's had plenty of time. Did he finish it? It was about 6 weeks before the season ended, was it? When he got it?
I think that's a fair shout, yeah, because there was some
somewhere in
murmurings
around
that
that, yeah.
maybe he might scrape back for the last game, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was wasn't it in the derby? Was it the derby? Wasn't it? It was, yeah. But no, he got the surgery fairly quickly. So right now he's 10 weeks. No, he's more than that, isn't he? He's about 10 weeks 11 weeks into recovery. Would that be about right?
I wouldn't say you're a million miles off.
Yeah, somewhere around that. So, between up nearly 3 months. But no, I can't see a problem. I think he'll be back ready to go. And, no, I can't see a problem with him at all. He'll be ready to go for the new season.
It's a very interesting question. It's definitely a question that sparks a debate in terms of, okay, maybe he might come back to full fitness, but has the knee injury taken something away from him, perhaps? Maybe a little bit of pace, maybe a little bit of, how would I describe it? Maybe
dynamism,
exactly. Maybe it's in the back of his mind now when he's doing certain moves that actually I don't want to rupture the knee because I know how painful it was the last time I went through that injury. So there's definitely the argument to suggest that it could have some sort of effect, and also the niggling post-injury injuries you get from these type of big injuries can, do hamper players. Some of the best players in the world find that, all it takes is one injury before they spiral into a meltdown of niggles and here and niggles there. So, it's his first big injury, I believe. I think it's his first big injury. So it's definitely an interesting one to keep an eye on.
Jonathan, Grizz, anything to add?
No, I'd have no concerns. He's a tough whore. He'll be back. Flying down the wings.
I think the only way we can sort of judge or gauge this is sort of, let's see, as it develops. He was an absolute juggernaut for us last season. He's had plenty of rest now. We have got a top-notch medical team now, haven't we, behind us? A group of physios and doctors and whatnot.
There was an interesting... Sorry there, Grizz. It just reminds me, I read an interesting article, I think it might have been yesterday. The number of tissue injuries in the players has reduced hugely this season. Most of the injuries that we've had have been impact injuries and it just goes to show, after all the hysteria of that unnamed Dutch Egypt.
The big egg.
Yes, that knob head. Yeah.
So no more tissue injuries, yeah?
No more tissue injuries, which is great. That the huge improvements, Klopp has made to the club.
I think the only worry about
using expensive tissue now.
The worry about Mane now is, will he sulk when he only gets the silver medal in the LFC Sports Day 100 metres when Salah takes the gold?
Well, this is it. Challenge. Drive them, forward. We have options. We have competition. I'm sure Origi will want to be in that mix. I'm sure Moreno. I don't think Moreno will be there, but Klein will be one in that mix. So yeah, we've got some speedsters now in the team.
Lucas is definitely winning the wheelbarrow race, though, isn't he?
Lucas is the egg and spoon champion. Right, lads, I think we've pretty much covered everything we can this week. Just a reminder to check out our Twitter page for details on how to win that 2005 Champions League shirt. There's a video on there on the competition tweet, explains everything, how to enter. Huge thanks to Gav, Keith, Jonathan and Grizz for joining us. Thanks to everyone that sent in questions, and thanks a million for listening. We'll see you guys soon.